You know, your brain is an absolutely incredible machine, but it comes with a few predictable glitches, little mental shortcuts that can make us miss something that's right in front of our faces or jump to the wrong conclusion. The good news, though, once you learn how to spot them, you can start thinking a whole lot more like a detective. And that, well, that changes everything.
So, first up, let's put your brain's focus to the test. What you're about to see is a really famous experiment from psychology, and trust me, it reveals something fascinating about the limits of our own attention. So, get ready. That's it. It's super simple. All you gotta do is watch the people in the white shirts and count their passes. Try to ignore everything else going on, just stay focused on the white team. Let's see how you do. Okay, so did you get a number? Good. But I have a more important question for you. Did you happen to see the person in a full-on gorilla suit who walked right into the middle of the game, thumped their chest, and then just walked off?
If you're kind of scratching your head right now going, what gorilla? You are in good company. In study after study, about half, 50% of all people who watch this video are so locked in on counting the passes that they completely, totally miss the gorilla. They look right at it, but they don't see it.
What just happened to you? Well, it has a name. It's called inattentional blindness. And this isn't some sign that you're not observant. Nope. It's just how our brains are wired. When our brain is really focused on one thing, it actively tunes out other stuff, even when that other stuff is as wild and out of place as a gorilla. And that's the big takeaway here. Our perception isn't like a perfect video camera recording every single thing. It's more like a spotlight. And whatever falls outside of that spotlight, no matter how obvious it might seem, might as well be invisible. This one little glitch has huge consequences for everything from, driving while you're talking on the phone to how reliable an eyewitness testimony can be. Okay, so that was a glitch where our brain literally doesn't see something. But there's another glitch, and honestly, it's way more common and maybe even a little more dangerous. It's when we only see the things that confirm what we already believe. This is where your brain's internal yes men come out to play. Check this out. It's a simple puzzle. I have a secret rule in my head that explains this sequence of numbers. 2, 4, 8. Your job is to figure out that rule. So, what do you think it is? Most people's brains immediately go, aha, each number is double the last one. Okay, but how would you prove that? And here's the trap. To test that doubling rule, most of us would try another sequence that fits, like 10, 20, 40. And I'd say, yep, that works. Then you'd try 3, 6, 12. I'd say yes again. It feels good to get a yes, right? To be told you're right. But that good feeling is actually stopping us from finding the real rule, which is much, much simpler. Each number just has to be bigger than the one before it. We never think to test a sequence like 1, 2, 3 because on some level, we just hate being told we're wrong. And this little game perfectly shows one of the most powerful glitches in human thinking, confirmation bias. It's our brain's natural urge to act like a lawyer, building a case for what it already wants to be true, instead of acting like a judge who's just trying to find the actual truth. I mean, this is the engine that powers our social media filter bubbles, right? We're constantly being fed stuff that tells us, you're right, you were right all along. Think of it like this. Imagine your brain is a rising TikTok star. We'll call her Shay. Now, Shay is surrounded by an entourage of yes men. Her manager, her stylist, they all tell her every idea is brilliant. So when she gets a terrible idea, like wearing a suit made entirely of hot dogs, they're all like, genius, Shay, you're a visionary. They make her feel good, but they're setting her up to fail. That's confirmation bias. But Shay also has her grandma, Nana Rose. And Nana Rose tells her the hard truth. She's the one who says, no, sweetie, that's a bad idea. We all need a Nana Rose for our own thinking. So how do we actually fight back against these brain glitches? Well, we need a toolkit. And we're going to start with the first tool for clear thinking: claim, evidence, and reasoning. It's a simple framework called CER. The claim is just what you think is true. The evidence is the proof, the stuff you can literally point to. And the reasoning, now this is the magic part. It's the bridge that explains why your evidence proves your claim. This simple formula acts like a mental speed bump. It forces us to slow down and actually build an argument with logic, instead of just leaping to whatever conclusion feels right. All right, let's practice with this photo. What's your gut reaction?
You probably think, that poor dog is stuck. But can you prove it? Let's use the CER framework to build a really solid explanation.
So, how does this break down? Okay, the claim is simple. The dog is stuck. The evidence is what we can physically see. There's a chair around its head, and it's looking right at the camera. But the reasoning is the crucial link. It connects the evidence to the claim by bringing in that outside knowledge. We know that dogs often make eye contact with people when they need help. See? All of a sudden, that's a much stronger, more detective-like argument than just saying, well, he looks stuck.
Okay, round 2. What do you think happened in this bathroom stall? Take a second. Seriously, try to build your own claim, evidence, and reasoning in your head before we move on. So here's one plausible breakdown. The claim, there was a surprise party here. The evidence, I see confetti everywhere, and, well, it's a bathroom. The reasoning, the fact that it's in such an odd place suggests the element of surprise was the whole point, because really, who expects a party in a bathroom? CER helps us turn a simple observation into a logical story.
Building a good argument is a great first step. But to truly think like a detective, we need to level up. We need a more advanced tool, the power of getting to know.
Now, the scientific method might sound all complicated, like you need a lab coat or something, but it's really just a formal way of trying to get to know. It's a system for stress testing your own ideas. You start with a question and a guess, your hypothesis. But then, and this is the most important part, you design an experiment not just to prove you're right, but to actively look for evidence that could prove you wrong. That's the huge mindset shift of a detective. You become more interested in finding the truth than you are in just being right.
And this brings us right back to Nana Rose. Actively trying to disprove your own ideas. That is the ultimate Nana Rose for your brain. It's the voice that saves you from the echo chamber of your own yes men. It's how you avoid wearing that metaphorical hot dog suit, whether it's in your job, your relationships, or your deepest beliefs.
Okay, so let's put all this together. It's time to become a scientist sleuth. Look, any good sleuth knows what they're up against. Think of this as your field guide to bad information. A superstition, like knocking on wood, is just a belief based on habit or magical thinking. A myth is a false story that's been told so many times it feels true. Misinformation is just wrong info, often spread by people who don't even know it's wrong. But a conspiracy theory is different. That's a whole story about a secret plot. Just being able to name what we're seeing is the first step to disarming it.
And that brings us to the end. You know, the goal here isn't to never be wrong. That's impossible. The goal is to get better at finding out when we're wrong. It's about building that little Nana Rose right into your own thought process. So my final question is for you. What's that one internal yes man in your own head? That one belief you just know is true that you're going to challenge this week by actively trying to get to know?